Thank you. Yeah, thank you for joining us for the February 11th, 2020 meeting of the Hendersonville Board of Mayor and Aldermen. We're going to begin our meetings as we typically do, and that's with a prayer and a pledge. So please join me in standing and remain standing after we finish the prayer, and I'll lead us in the pledge as well. So please bow your heads with me. Dear Lord, thank you for bringing us together, and thank you for the opportunities ahead of us, and thank you for the wisdom that you provide us. Help us to use that wisdom to do your work here and do your work as we go from here. Thank you for the many people who take care of us, the many people who protect us, those that are nearby and those that are far away. And also thank you for the many lives that it seems have ended recently in all our lives in our community, and help us to remember and be thankful for the time that they've spent with us. And help us to end our grieving and move forward and appreciate all the wonderful opportunities and abilities and gifts that you have given us. And help us do all this in your Son's name. In Jesus' name, amen. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Jeff, are we okay? Thank you. I'm going to entertain a motion to accept the agenda, but I'd like to add something, is that we consider items under ordinance and resolutions, item A, C, and J as a consent item. A, C, and J as consent items. And so what we'll do is when we get to the end of the regular agenda under ordinance and resolutions, you know what? No, we'll do it first under ordinance. When we hit A, we'll vote on A, C, and J all at once. If anybody would like to have those items pulled out to get some clarifications or to speak on them, we sort of need to do that now. Items A, C, and J. So when we get to item A, we will consider items A, C, and J all together. So we have a motion to approve the agenda with that change. A second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no. So we're making that change. Alderman Brown.
Mayor, I would like to amend our agenda and add a mutual aid agreement that Alderman Edwards is passing out between City of Hendersonville and City of Goodlettsville, especially for fire service out around the 12 Stones area.
Is this a resolution? What is this a report?
What would you?
Normally we'd have a resolution.
Normally we'd have a resolution, so it would be a resolution number. It would need to be put on it.
Should we make it K?
And I'll second that motion.
Resolution authorizing the mayor to execute details of all the resolutions.
So we're going to make that item K. Do we know what the resolution number is going to be, K? Well, when we get to it, we will know the resolution number of that.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay. Sure, hold on. Do we have a second on that?
A second.
Sorry about that, Alderman Edwards. Alderman Strauss.
Could we just ask what's pressing on this one? Is it particularly time sensitive?
Does anybody want to answer that?
I was asked through Public Safety Committee by our fire chief to add it this evening. We had not time to discuss it beforehand, but it's been on the table for a while. I would ask Mr. Bradley to address that. I mean, this is a simple, we've done this before with other folks.
And
so.
normally we just have a resolution approving it.
Okay.
I don't know that it's particularly time sensitive, but it's a pretty simple thing.
The language is common to the language is the same as other agreements?
Yes.
Okay, I'm good with it.
All those in favor of adding item K, resolution involving interlocal mutual and automatic aid agreement, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say no. So we have two changes. One is to add item K, and the other is to have a consent agenda of items A, C, and J. All those in favor of accepting the agenda as amended, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say no. That passes unanimously. Next, I get to do something pretty cool. Not that this isn't cool, sorry. I want to give a presentation to our National Recycling Day contest winners. I have to walk over here before I say anything else. We have a couple folks here with our Recycling and Solid Waste Committee with us and staff with us as well. And I'd like to have Lauren Cipher come up and Kate Ost to come up and Aiden Bennett to come up. So these are our drawing winners. And Jeff, feel free to tell us we need to move a certain direction if to get a good view, okay? So Lauren, this is special recognition. She's the elementary school winner for the National Recycling Day Drawing Contest. And the theme for all of them was Recycling Matters. How can we recycle? And this is Lauren here in elementary school. And then Kate Osk, our middle school winner. And then Aiden Bennett. And y'all are quite welcome, as y'all are as well, to say something a little bit about your drawing, about the contest. You want to go first? Oh, here we go. I can need you to get a little bit closer to the microphone.
So it's a picture of this, It's a picture of this, little girl who's making a craft, and she's recycling new things. And it says here that if you recycle, you can make our planet a better place. And if you recycling, you can make new things into like a robot or a dollhouse. And you can just recycle and make different things out of different pieces.
Lauren, tell us what school you're from.
I'm from Beach Elementary. I am 8 years old.
And what grade are you in?
I'm in 2nd grade.
I would like to say, and Lauren, you go back and tell your school this, Beach Elementary submitted 200 posters. They submitted almost everyone in their school. They should be commended for helping support recycling. Wonderful. Thank you.
I gave you the wrong proclamation. There you go. Okay. And Kate, right? Kate, do you want to speak?
Sure.
Go ahead. Awesome.
So my drawing, I just wanted to show the importance of recycling. So I made a world with recycling and a world without. That's really all I have to say about it. I'm in 7th grade, and I'm actually homeschooled through Aaron Academy.
And then Aaron?
My name is Aiden, and it's all right. It's chill, man. My name is Aiden, and I'm a senior, and I'm also enrolled in Aaron Academy. And I drew the world vomiting with trash, and it says, "Keep the earth healthy." Yeah.
Where are you going to school after you graduate?
I think I'm planning on going to TCAT and being a carpenter.
Yes, everybody, parent, come. Okay. Okay, one more thing. Each of the winners also receives a gift card courtesy of Green Village Recycling.
Appreciate y'all.
All right,
Thanks so much.
you. Go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jonathan Hayes. I'm an alderman in Ward 5. I'd like to ask that the Bison Bells please come on up. And your coaches, and we want to recognize you. We are so proud of you. What an honor it is. National champions. National champions. This is a big deal. Let me just share this with you in recognition. The city of Hendersonville is proud to recognize the Station Camp Bison Bells dance team for their amazing accomplishments at the 2020 UDA National Dance Team Championship that was held in Orlando, Florida from January 31st through February 2nd, 2020. Around 500 of the best high school dance teams from across the nation attend this event annually. On the national stage, the Bells' dedication, hard work, talent were all on full display. They moved up from 12th place in small varsity hip-hop last year to a top 10 finish of 8th place in this year. The greatest achievement during the competition was their first place finish in small varsity game day, which was the first ever national championship for Station Camp High School. These athletes practice 11 months out of the year and 5 to 6 days every week, on top of supporting Station Camp athletics at football games, basketball games, pep rallies, and other related events. These girls juggle advanced classes, part-time jobs, school clubs, studio dance, community service, and local charity affairs. Additionally, the 5 Station Camp High School class of 2020, these senior Bells, will graduate as 3 times Mid-South Regional Champs, 5 times TSSAA State Champs, 6 times Nationals finalists, and 2020 Small Varsity Game Day National Champions. The Bells are coached by Sherry Leonard, Kathy Miles, and Lisa Bain, who devote countless hours of time and energy to train and support the Bells. Congratulations to the Station Camp High School Bison Bells on this amazing achievement. We are so proud of you. We've got some certificates here. Both Darrell and I signed these for you, and I've asked if the mayor would read out those names, and we will hand them to you and award you. Thank you, Mayor.
So, Alderman Hayes sounds like an announcer when he was doing that. I had the privilege of seeing them perform at the Hendersonville High School, Station Camp High School game a couple weeks ago, and what I thought was phenomenal turned out to not be their best performance, and so y'all are absolutely amazing. There's no doubt about that. So if y'all could come forward. Madeline Ashley. Audrey Baird. Lauren Carneal. They gave me the hard job of pronouncing the names. This is Kara Raymond. Colby Winsper. Eliana Safer. Lindsay Thompson. Abby Johnson. Kennedy Jones. Kenzie Lyles. Mita Sanchez. Mita. Okay. Satine Simpson. Olivia Rauscher. And Julian Elliott. Congratulations, y'all. Do y'all want to say something? Do y'all want to say something?
Want to get pictures?
Yeah. Okay. It gives us time to sit down.
Come on.
First, we'd like to say thank you to Mayor Clary and the board for inviting us tonight. Thank you also, Mayor Clary, for, I lost him, meeting us the other night when we came home. That was awesome. We appreciate that. We'd also like to sincerely say thank you to our parents. There are so many things that go into a successful year with our team, and we simply just could not do it without y'all. We thank you so much for just making it work. As we finally began to recover from such a physically demanding and emotionally overwhelming weekend in Orlando, we still find ourselves looking back and thinking, was that really us? It's so hard to believe that when these seniors were freshmen, we didn't advance from any preliminary division in nationals at all. In just a few years, these Bells managed to do what many teams all over the country have only dreamed about doing. They outperformed some very established programs from Louisiana, Colorado, Michigan, Missouri, and others, and brought home these white jackets. We can't say enough about the grit and determination that our 5 seniors have shown this year, actually over the past 4 years. They really have learned what it's like to start from the bottom and work their way all the way to the top, and they have played a monumental role in the progression of our program. We were a little concerned last year after graduating 5 seniors, but this entire team really stepped up to the challenge and worked extra hard and repeated 2 more state titles plus the first ever national championship for our school. So we'd officially like to say to y'all, it was us. We love y'all and we're proud of y'all.
Yeah, pictures?
That's funny. Thank you. Thank you. We do not have anybody signed up for, or we actually do not have any public hearings tonight, and we do have 3 people signed up for our citizen comments. But first, I entertain a motion to approve our January 28, 2020 meeting minutes. So moved. I have a motion. Second. And a second. All those in favor of approving our minutes from January 28, 2020, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no. Abstention from Alderman Woodcott and Alderman Robertson. As I said, for citizens' comments, we have 3 people signed up. Speakers must identify themselves by name and address if I fail to. Public comment shall be limited to 5 minutes per individual, in which time is not transferable to other speakers. All comments are to be directed to the presiding officer, not to the alderman, city staff, or to other members of the public. Comments must address issues, not individuals or personalities. Personal attacks shall not be tolerated. Comments may support or oppose particular issues or measures, but the motives of those with different views shall not be questioned or attacked. Malicious comments will not be allowed. Speeches for or against particular candidates running for public office shall not be allowed. Stephen Puckett, Sanders Ferry Road.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Stephen Puckett. I reside at 228 Saunders Ferry Road, apartment 8021 in Hendersonville, Tennessee. And I want to announce it is starting tomorrow. It is primary time in Tennessee. So this is your starting tomorrow. You have, which is Wednesday the 12th. You have the opportunity to send the loudest and clearest message you have to the different political parties, given that both parties do have presidential primaries, on what your values are. So make sure to vote for the candidate best fits your values, and I'll leave the more detailed information for Ms. Collins, who'll be speaking later. Thank you.
Thank you, Stephen. Chris Spencer, River Chase, Ward 5.
Good evening, Board. I wanted to first start by thanking the police chief, Chief Miller, job that he's been doing and the staff have been doing. And I appreciate his stance of not allowing the department to get involved in the past election, even though many on this board pressured him to do so. I appreciate him not doing that to the police department. I also want to thank Russ Edwards. I'm only here because of what I saw on video from the last meeting. And Russ, I appreciate for what you were trying to achieve at the last meeting. It appears to me that some want to use every opportunity to make this mayor look bad. And last meeting was case in point. So Russ, you were correct try and avoid a public spectacle, and I applaud you for this. You showed real class and maturity. Thank you. You're serving your constituents very well. There has not been anything to report on the blasting over the past year. That was until now. I promised my friends in Ward 5 I would see this issue through. It's been a long 3 years, and one of the most disappointing things was witnessing the prior safety committee hurting our cause. Anyways, we have finally had our bill introduced, and it passed the first reading on February 6th, and last night it passed the second reading, and we have been assigned to the Senate Commerce Committee and the House Business Committee. It's a real long shot, because how much money companies such as the Rogers Group pumps into political campaigns, but we will do our best to try and make the difference for the city of Hendersonville and the state of Tennessee. Now, I briefly want to just make a few points on the selective outrage from the last BOMA meeting. Number one, over the documents and employee files. Are we just concerned about this particular employee from last meeting? I think there's other files that seem to be missing paperwork as well, and even timesheets. Are you looking into this? 2, donations to the Hendersonville High School. Really? We're bringing that up again. I think this might be the 3rd meeting that we brought that up. What was really surprising was the comments and the selective outrage from our senior alderman from Ward 4. But I'm glad he raised the issue on donations. I believe our tax dollars should not go to charitable organizations. It's not because I'm against these organizations. I have given 10% of my income for 30 years to charities I trust. If you serve on this board and benefit from these tax dollars, it's a serious conflict. Charitable organizations should be supported by the private sector and the charitable giving by the individual. The fact is, if organizations need subsidies, maybe they're not worthy. How many of you on this board give money to this particular charity? If you're not contributing to this charity with your personal money, you sure shouldn't be voting to pay with our money. And the last thing I just want to briefly mention was the taxes, because I just finally paid my bill. I was told our taxes weren't going up, and mine went up $550. So I don't know how I got a $550 more bill when taxes weren't supposed to go up. Thank you.
Chris, thank you. Pat Collins, Chirac Drive, also with the Election Commission.
Good evening. Pat Collins, I'm here from the Election Commission. I'm one of your 5 election commissioners here in Sumner County. As Mr. Puckett stated, early voting will begin tomorrow. And we are no longer doing early voting at the county building on Belvedere Road. So what is happening is the 2 locations in which early voting will be taking place for 12 straight days will be at the Freedom Church, at Vietnam Veterans, and Greenlee Boulevard, which is in Gallatin, and Hendersonville Church of Christ at Imperial Square entrance. So the hours will be for Freedom Church, Monday through Friday, 8 through 4:30 p.m., and that's February 12th through the 25th, and on Saturdays, 9 to 12 on February 15th and February 22nd. At the Hendersonville Church of Christ, the hours will be Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. through 6 p.m., February 12th through February 25th, and 9 a.m. until 12 p.m., February 15th and 22nd. We also have 4 satellite location dates, which are in Portland, Goodlettsville, White House, and in Westmoreland. What you need to remember, if you're a registered voter in the county of Sumner, you can go to any of these locations and vote. What you also need to remember is that you must have your state ID, either Tennessee or federally issued ID. This is very, very important. We have tried as a commission to put things pretty much where people could get in and out, as far as parking is concerned and safety. So we hope that you will tell your friends that are registered voters, please come out and vote. And on March 3rd will be Election Day at your individual precincts in which you live. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Chairman Cunningham, Finance Report.
No report, Mayor, thank you.
General Committee, Chairman Sprouse.
Yes, sir. General Committee met tonight. We had a couple of resolutions dealing with amending the job classification list and pay tables. Those will be coming to you at a later meeting with the recommendation of the committee. We also had a resolution to approve final development plan for the Jack Alexander property, which is on Gallatin Road, having to deal with a list of permitted uses for the property. That'll also be coming to you with a recommendation of the committee. We had a good discussion about meeting efficiency. Some of the ideas had a representative from MTAS there helping us with that. We will continue those discussions, and you may see some recommendations coming actually to change some of the rules on the board. One thing that was discussed that does not require a rule change, but it's something that we can do using rules we already have. So I asked the chairman, myself included, to think about this, and the chairman, whoever has opportunity to hold us all accountable for that. We're running into issues where committee reports are turning into discussions about items related to that committee, not reports from that committee. So for example, we may talk about something in public safety, and we segue into a 10-minute discussion about something that was never discussed at public safety, but probably should. We run into the issue there where we are discussing items that are not on our agenda. People aren't prepared to have those. Residents don't know we're going to be talking about that. So the advice from MTask was that really we stick to committee reports to being reports from committee, advice of what further action the committee could be, and then opening up for a request for further action for the committee. And so we think that that will go a long way to help with that. That's not going to require any rule change. Thank you for that. And that's my report.
Thank you, Chairman Sprouse. Chairman Brown, Public Safety.
Thanks, Mayor.
Hold on one second. Chairman Cunningham, I didn't thank you. I appreciate it. Chairman Brown.
We approved our minutes. We also approved Ordinance 2020-02, an ordinance amending 2019-22, appropriating $80,686 for fire department salaries, overtime for staffing of UTVs at our parks. We had discussed that last time, and Safety Committee went to Finance, was passed in Finance, came back to us for our approval. We had a presentation, Mr. Rozek, Steve Rozek is sitting here tonight, concerning our benefits for fallen firefighters, fallen officers, and we ended up furthering that conversation into each and every city employee. I asked Alderman Edwards and our HR director to look into what he spoke to us about and give us a report back in a couple months on their findings and what they thought. We also had a lively discussion of Governor Lee's non-recurring grant that's a possibility for our city to receive if his wish list is approved, basically, by the House of Representatives. That would give this city $650,000 to use towards safety issues. A couple areas, other areas might be in there, but we wanted to get on the basically in the queue first as a safety committee. Means we're looking at funding a new fire hall in the next few months. We need some police cars replaced and some other things. So hopefully that will come to our city, and then we can discuss exactly how we want to spend that money. We had a discussion on emergency services protocols. Citywide emergency OSHA plan was brought to us. We had a meeting about a week ago. There'll be another meeting tomorrow at police training room, I believe that's where it's going to be at, concerning protocols when we have emergencies. We'll also have a presentation from our HR director who's going to be compiling a OSHA plan, citywide OSHA plan, in case we had a catastrophe such as an earthquake or something like that would hit us. So that's something they'll be working on. Good positive discussion. We also discussed Fire Hall 7's footprint out off of Drakes Creek Road and Avant Lane, what that looked like, and we'll be meeting again with the developers on Thursday about possibly looking at a bigger piece of land to put that fire hall on if they would so agree to us to do that. That's my report.
Appreciate that, Chairman Brown. Chairman Skidmore, Public Works Committee.
Yes, thank you. Just briefly, tonight on your agenda, the Public Works Committee, we've approved the resolution 2020-7 and 2020-8. And also on item F, We've approved that at the budget ordinance of 2019-22, appropriating the $33,000 line item that's on the agenda tonight. We are scheduled to meet at the end of the month, so we'll probably have one more meeting before we meet again. Other than that, we've been handling the water. We've had so much rain, such a quick assessment. Just briefly, we've been handling it. But just to be, for all the constituency, to let your constituents know and everyone, and everyone else in the city, just be watching the rain with the flash floods right now, because we've had a lot of rain in a short period of time. So just keep an eye on it. We've been able to handle it as a city, and I don't foresee any problem in the future, but if you see something, call us in Public Works, where we can get a team out there to take a look at it. Thank you, Mayor.
Chairman Skidmore, thank you. Alderman Strauss.
I apologize. I forgot to report. We had a special called meeting of General Committee last night. It was more of a workshop. We had, I think, the 3 committee members, 3 other aldermen, some of the staff, and the city administrator. We were discussing 6 different issues having to deal with public personnel. You may be seeing in the coming months some rules coming from that. One of those that is going to be a real big culture shift, and I think it's important that we discuss it, that we just kind of give the word out so people aren't surprised, particularly city employees. There's some concern about the amount of overtime that we are paying, and discussion about shifting towards hiring enough people to do 40-hour weeks as opposed to having people doing 50 and 60-hour weeks as a regular basis. Thank you.
Chairman Strauss, thank you. Chairman Campbell, Capital Projects.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No report today. Thank you.
Thank you. Planning Commission, Alderman Woodcock.
Thank you. First thing has already been mentioned, but we have a slight issue at Planning Commission, so I need to make an explanation. So the first thing we have was the Jack Alexander property, Lot 2. We approved the final development plan, but in discussion, the developer, along with some residents, were sitting together. We asked if the citizen had been notified. A representative said they had been notified, so it kind of led us to believe there was no opposition. We voted for it. One person voted against it, so it was approved. Developer left. Another representative came back and said they needed to make a clarification that the residents had not been notified or had a discussion with it. It would not have changed the outcome of the vote, but some votes would have been changed because we thought there was no opposition. So honest mistake on their part, but we agreed to make that announcement tonight so that there's no confusion on what happened at Planning Commission. Obviously, if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer those after the meeting. Outside of that, we approved the site plans for Durham Farm Phase 3, Section 26 and 28. We approved the site plan for another oil change place. Title is Take 5 Oil Change. We approved the site plan for 14 townhomes called Tau Townhomes. And we approved the streets in Indian Lake Village Phase 3B, Section 1 and 2, and Sonnersville Station Phase 6. Thank you.
Alderman Woodcock, thank you. Alderman Brown.
Where is change 5 going to be located at, or whatever? Just curious.
It is on Main Street across from the other oil change place where the home used to be, in front of
Captain
Video. That's exactly where I'd put one.
Yeah.
Mr. Lamar, Interim City Administrator report.
Thank you, Mayor. A few things cooking last couple of weeks. I sent most of you an email about the interim codes director, Greg Story, doing a great job the first week and a half. Mr. Brian Washko resigned on Wednesday the 29th, and Greg was able and willing to step up and take the lead of that department. I met with him a couple of times since then. He said everything's caught up, the plans reviews are caught up. He's trying to get everything off his desk within 24 hours. And as a lot of the contractors and builders come by my door, I'm just stopping them and asking them, hey, how's things going? They said, things are going good. We're getting help back there. And so codes is off and running pretty smooth. And I appreciate that. Chris has just started his tenure as HR interim director, doing a good job. Probably have to put a leash on him, kind of pull him back a little bit. No, he's excited. He's doing a great job and getting some things done that the city's been a city for 50 years, and we've had some rules and regulations that been there 50 years, and so we need to get with the 21st century. So I appreciate Chris and his enthusiasm, and his staff's really, really going. ADA job, signed off on it today. HR signed off on it today, and we're getting ready to post that in the next few days, probably by the end of the week. That ADA coordinator position will be in the Public Works Department, so we'll get that off and running. Budget process is getting ready to start. I think the department heads got their packets and agendas and things. The dates we're going to start meeting with the budget process with the department heads, so that's moving forward pretty quick. We had a question about I don't know what Peg was, but had a little mold question. Some of you discussion about some mold in the building. We did some mold testing, and Mr. Fentress took care of that and didn't find any mold. So if any of you had any question about mold in some of these offices, as most of you know, the air conditioning unit about 10 to 12 years fell through the roof here, and we had a lot of water in here, and some question if there was any mold, but we have not found any. We've done several tests this last couple weeks, so put your mind at ease. I'm meeting daily with the departments, just walking through the departments, asking if they need any help. I meet with HR and John Bradley probably more than I want to, but just there's a lot of issues with 400 employees. As a service organization, we just have a lot of things going on with employees in the city. So, but a lot of good things going on. The trash situation, been some stir up about that. I did a little bit of homework, and I'm not going to belabor the process, but we met with Waste Pro a day or two after our last meeting in January. Asked them to try to get working through some of the issues that are going on, and they're trying to work through some of them. Some of them are not their fault, and some of the things they told me, like, people calling in 2 and 3 days in a row said the trash was missed. Some people calling in saying, well, my trash is supposed to be picked up twice a week, Monday and Thursday, but it's only Monday now. And so, a lot of the education process is still out there. They're averaging, I did a little chart here the last couple of days, just doing a little homework. They're averaging 138 to 150 plus or minus a week complaints. Some of those are the people, some they're not putting their stuff out. Lady called the other day when I was standing there talking to Sandra at the windows, called in, and it was 9 o'clock and the people already picked up the trash, and the lady forgot to put it out, thought they would come later that day. We have people calling in saying, my trash is not picked up and it's 3:30, I thought it was going to be done at 8 o'clock. So we're just working through some of those issues. I did look back, just out of curiosity for myself, Republic, the last 6 months of their contract, they were in January 120 misses a day, February 118 misses a day, March 95, April 110, May jumped up to 208 a day, June went skyrocketed to 270 a day. So it's not unheard of that a trash company misses things in different ones. So I just wanted to just kind of throw that out there since there's been some things going on. I appreciate all of us working together and keeping a positive swing on this. The Waste Pro is doing the best they can. Marshall and his staff at Public Works is doing a good job trying to head these things off, and Waste Pro is trying to help us out. So I just appreciate cooperation from everybody. One of the things with the city administrator's position that's been a little bit different, we talked about in the staff meeting this morning, is that contact with BOMA and the department heads and things like that. And one thing we can and won't do ever is say the department heads can't talk to aldermen can't talk to department heads. That's ridiculous. We have to do, those things have to happen. If the department head contacts an alderman or an alderman contacts the department head, just carbon copy me so I can kind of be in the loop. You got a pothole, you got in the mayor and I talked about this yesterday, he had a couple of trash complaint. He had a complaint of a lot of people living in one home, and we sent the email to John Henry and the police department to look into. So just as long as it's going to keep me in the loop, in that things are working a little bit better. I know you're getting fewer calls. Mr. Brown was mad at me a couple weeks ago because he's not getting 8 or 10 calls a day. He's only getting 1 a week. So hopefully 2 a week? Okay. Hopefully I can deter some of those phone calls to you. City administrator, last thing, city administrator position moving forward. Applications cut off on the 31st, which was a couple days after the last alderman meeting. On Friday the 31st, we had 24 applications. So we're down to 12 really qualified candidates that have worked in city administrative, city management positions in local government. And so we've got some really good quality candidates. And the committee will start evaluating those. I think we're meeting the 26th or 27th of February. and then start narrowing those down, and we'll keep you updated and when the board will interview and things like that. So moving forward, if anybody has any questions, I would entertain anything.
Alderman Brown.
I don't necessarily have a question, but I would ask you, is there anything that you need from us?
And again, the process is different than it used to be, okay? And again, there's little glitches that come up every day, and we just deal with those. And again, I just appreciate the communication from you people to myself and to my staff, because the staff is really doing a good job and trying to do what you want them to do and what I request them to do. And again, if we get caught up one day and don't respond to your email, stuff like that, and again, we'll try to respond in a timely fashion, but sometimes it doesn't happen. So I told my staff this morning, I said, you send me an email, I don't respond to it till the next day. I usually wait till I get home that night and start responding to all my emails, because I've been in meetings and down the hall and somewhere else. So, but no, I think everything's right now, Steve, after 2 months, I think is going as well as can be expected.
I do too. Thank you, Dave.
Alderman Skidmore.
Yes, thank you. Just briefly, I appreciate the work the hard work, actually, that you've placed upon yourself with the city administrator, and the load that you have taken. It's made as elected officials, it's made our position somewhat more relaxed when we are be able to respond to our constituency. One, I do want to let you know that I'm going to be sending you an email. I want just to let you know this publicly, and for what it's worth, to let you know that I'm having an issue over in Harbortown on the codes, and I don't know if you want to know about that, or not now, not tonight,
no, I do.
but just in the
If
email.
Again, anybody's got an issue going on, and some of the aldermen already done that, send me an email.
Okay.
If it's a codes issue, send it to me and Greg, and then we'll address it, and one of us will respond to you.
Well, it's dealing with the codes and some other items as well with John Henry, and we're coming up to an issue. Probably may even have John Bradley involved in this just as a directive. So I'll probably get the email to you and John both, because it's just a question of law, and it may not be something that the law has changed or something we're not aware of it.
Right.
But
No.
it'll affect everybody. It deals with homeowners associations as well.
Yeah.
But we've been having some issues. There's no conflict. We just need the guidance is what
Okay.
it is. And so I'm going to email you that
Yeah,
as well.
that's a great question, and then if all of you up there at the board level, anytime you have any questions, shoot me an email, whatever you need, questions from the staff, and we'll respond and try to get things cleared up. That's what hopefully this position can do on a day-to-day basis, and that takes
Well,
up the load off the mayor at this point.
It does, and it makes it, actually, it helps us, because there are certain issues we thought we were doing what we're supposed to do with dealing with homeowners associations, when we really don't have any jurisdiction over certain aspects of it.
You got to love homeowners associations.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Thank you, Dave.
We're good, thank you.
Next, we have under ordinance and resolutions, we have 3 items. The first is item A, which is second reading of ordinance 2020-4. This is an ordinance appropriating up to $25,000 for the Spencer Bristol family and members of the Hendersonville Police Department to attend National Law Enforcement Police Memorial Service. Also is item C, which is first reading of ordinance 2020-1, an ordinance accepting and appropriating donations in the amount of $1,250 from anonymous donors for Mary's Magical Place Maintenance Fund. I'm sorry, hold on one second.
First reading?
It's first reading, but it's 2020-1?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Just went through the
Thank you.
process.
Okay. And then also, it's reading of Resolution 2020-8. This is a resolution accepting the dedication of the completed streets in Saundersville Station Phase 6 inside Hendersonville, Sumner County, Tennessee. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving second reading of ordinance 2020-4, first reading of ordinance 2020-1, and resolution 2020-8, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no. That passes unanimously. Next, we have item B, which is first reading of ordinance 2019-53. This is an ordinance amending the Hendersonville Municipal Code, Title 4, Chapter 3, Comprehensive Classification and Compensation Plan. Alderman Bolt. So moved. A motion and a second. All those in favor of approving first reading of ordinance 2019-53, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no. That passes unanimously. Now we have item D, which is first reading of ordinance 2020-2. This is an ordinance amending ordinance 2019-22 and appropriating up to $80,686 for fire department salaries overtime for staffing of the UTV in parks. Alderman Bolt? Alderman Brown? A motion and a second. All those in favor of approving first reading of ordinance 2020-2, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no. Next, we have first read, that passes unanimously. Next, we have first reading of ordinance 2020-3. This is an ordinance amending our budget ordinance 2019-22 by appropriating $16,000 to the Parks Department line item, assets $7,000 and up. Alderman Bolt. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving first reading of ordinance 2020-3, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no. That passes unanimously. Next, we have first reading of ordinance 2020-5. This is ordinance amending our budget ordinance, which is 2019-22, by appropriating $33,240 to the Public Works Department, and the line item assets $7,000 and up. Alderman Skidmore.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Alderman Brown.
What might that be?
Alderman Skidmore, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, I'm going
Okay.
to want to make sure that I tell you the accurate comment on it, because I don't want to mess up.
This is the canopy, isn't it? Yeah.
It's for the canopy for the fire hall, I'm sorry. It's for the fire hall.
We had a,
Sir?
we had a.
I mean, not for the fire hall, but for the fuel, where we get our fuel.
So we had a contractor for the city knock that down, and their insurance has covered it?
Right.
Okay, thank you.
That's what that is.
Okay, appreciate that. All those in favor of ordinance 2020-5, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say no. That passes unanimously. Now we have resolution 2020-4. This is a resolution to submit a proposal to host the 2021 Tennessee Middle School Athletic Association state tournaments for baseball and softball. Alderman Bolt. A motion and a second. Alderman Robertson.
I just was wondering, will our CA be refereeing those games? Maybe. That's all. Thank you.
Appreciate it, Alderman Robertson. All those in favor of resolution 2020-4, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no. That passes unanimously. Now we have resolution of 2020-6. This is the resolution amending the job classification list and pay tables. Alderman Bolt. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of resolution 2020-6, please signify by saying aye. Those opposed, please say no. That passes unanimously. Now we have resolution 2020-7. This is a resolution accepting the dedication of the completed streets. Why didn't I include this in mine? Including the complete dedication of completed streets in Eden Lake Village, Phase 3B, Sections 1 and 2, Ashcrest, in Hendersonville, which is in Sumner County, Tennessee. Alderman Woodcock. Motion and a second. All those in favor of resolution 2020-7, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, please say no. That passes unanimously. Now we have item K, which is resolution 2020-11. Alderman Brown.
So moved.
A motion and a second. Alderman Brown.
Okay.
We have a motion and a second. Who's our second? Alderman Woodcock. Alderman Brown.
All right, this is a resolution approving a mutual aid agreement between Goodlettsville and Hendersonville. Now thereafter, best resolved by the Board of Mayor and Aldermen of the City of Hendersonville. You write like a doctor, sir.
Be it resolved.
Be it resolved that the mayor is authorized to execute the attached agreement. Thank you.
I'm going to abstain on this just because I haven't seen it. I don't feel comfortable committing myself to sign something that I haven't gotten to read yet. So, any other discussion? All those in favor of resolution, what is it again?
2020-11.
2020-11, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say no. That passes unanimously. We have, yes, no, I'm abstaining. We have a motion to adjourn. Do we have a second? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Those opposed, please say no. We're adjourned. Thank you, Jeff.